welcome to Better Than Yesterday. Today is a very special episode. I'm joined by a special guest here, Oliver Johnson.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the pod, man. Good to have you on.
Thanks for having me, man.
For sure, man. Yeah, so we wanted to have a conversation today all about digital marketing, man.
Absolutely.
How to get into it, tips and tricks, maybe some of the pitfalls for people out there who are looking at getting into this industry. Something you've been doing for a few years now, man. So we just wanted to pick your brain. And man, we've done a few interviews on this channel yet, Better Than Yesterday, and we just like getting on young people who are on the grind and on the come up, bro. So that's why we decided to get you on. Decided to pick your brain a bit, bro.
For sure, dude. I'm really stoked to be here. Thanks for having me.
For sure, man.
Obviously I've been in the industry going into like 2 years, coming like this is like my second year now.
Lovely, man.
I'm not exactly a super experienced or whatever, but I'm still young and I'm in a fortunate position to be where I am. So I'm just happy to share the knowledge that I have and what I've learned so far through it.
100%, man. I've spoken to quite a lot of young people who our age actually, who are just coming out of school, and it's something that a lot of them are interested in going into. It's funny, you've been doing social media marketing and like digital marketing for the last couple of years. In my studies, I've been doing a few like part-time jobs where I was doing like email marketing and like telemarketing, where you call people up and just like ask them about the product. So that's like the old way of getting your brand name across. But obviously, like digital marketing is it's been around for a while now, but it's definitely still, I think a lot of companies are starting to catch on to the point that this is like the new way to find customers and to find clients. Through social media, through websites and that kind of stuff, man. Man, I just wanted to ask you. What sort of you're fresh out of high school. Me and we actually went to high school together,
exactly.
which is cool, bro. Man, it's cool that we stayed in touch this far.
Absolutely.
But what was that thing that pushed you towards social media and digital marketing in the first place?
Well, it's super weird and funny because from school, my subject choice and everything was geared towards wanting to do sports science, which is pretty much completely on a different track.
Yeah.
And then during the gap year that I took, I got involved in like the social media side, and I saw people doing this kind of thing, like the influencer kind of thing in social media management, and I decided, I was like, let me do a digital marketing course, just an online course covering SEO, Instagram, Facebook, WordPress, all of this type of thing. And as soon as I finished that, I was like, this is actually something really interesting, and it's something that's going to be around for a while, and it wasn't a big conversation back then.
It's true.
It's just come up within the last like maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think you got on just before that. Like,
absolutely,
that
exactly. So it's just had that increase, and I was like, okay, cool. So let me try to do some freelancing. Approached people, did a few jobs here and there.
Awesome.
Helping out with Instagram managing, content creation, that type of thing. And that's how I guess I got my start into it.
Lovely, man.
Now I'm at a company. I started doing social media, and now I'm sort of in all the different channels of digital marketing. So
lovely stuff, man.
Yeah.
So like on a day-to-day basis, what do you get up to at your company?
So for me, come in the morning, check the mails. A couple of briefs come through. A lot of client work for us. We are like a digital marketing company / digital production agency kind of thing as well. So we have clients and things will come through, maybe reel creation, content creation from a document that gets sent through with some cool visuals, and they'll want it made into a video or a reel for Instagram. I'll be maybe sent to events, go and get content at, an art event within the city or something like that. So a little art showcase or a release of a new product, anything like that. For one example I can speak to is in town there was a building that was graffiti by a bunch of very well-known artists. So went to a abandoned building. So went to that and took a tour through and got some cool Instagram content, videos and pictures of a little walkthrough. So it's just all sorts of stuff like that. It's like the small jobs that maybe sometimes people think it's a quick and easy thing, but if you want like a really good reel and you want something to perform, there's also a lot of research that goes into it.
Big time, man. Big time. Interesting, bro. There's always things going on in Cape Town to do, and I wanted to actually ask a question about that as well.
For sure.
What have you found about the industry of digital marketing in Cape Town specifically, and like in South Africa? Would you say it's like obviously something that's still like emerging, but what's like some challenges and maybe some things you've noticed about companies that you've worked with in Cape Town? Like, what are the kind of demands that they have of you guys?
I think definitely in Cape Town, South Africa specifically, just from what I've gone through, I think it's a sometimes overlooked aspect of a business. Because I don't know, people think, okay, we need to create a website, we need to create social media or whatever, but they don't really dive deeper into that and think of the competitions or giveaways to run on social media. They don't think of a full social strategy that they would need to drive traffic back to their website or to their socials, because that's where a lot of clients come from these days. From social media.
Big time, bro.
There's
the amount of eyes you're getting as opposed to anything else,
Absolutely. I mean, there's word of mouth. People can talk, but I mean, I guarantee if you went to, I don't know, a mall or a coffee shop, what's the percentage of people that would be on their phones or something? There's not as much talking.
We live on our phones these days. It's bad, bro.
It is bad. Good for me, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. You got to take advantage of these things. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So
that's awesome.
That's just, I definitely think it can be overlooked, and
awesome.
It's just something people may forget about, or they just don't know enough about it.
Big time.
There's definitely a lot of learning to be done, especially in the industry. There's always learning to be done. The forever changing algorithms on Google, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah. We'll see what kind of impact ChatGPT might have on that as well. I mean,
absolutely.
There's always like new things. Yeah. That's cool, man. Also, so you said you did a course, like a short course on that. Like, who did you do that through?
I did that through Udemy.
Udemy, okay, wonderful. Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff that they offer. So like, I don't know, a friend of mine actually, who's staying in Namibia at the moment. He's doing like a whole degree on digital marketing, which is quite cool. Must be also like a new degree because relatively new industry. What would you say about like the best way to sort of get into it? Would you say like self-study? Would you recommend that course that you did? Maybe like going the degree route? What do you think from what you've seen and your own path is a good way of getting yourself in there?
I think it's different for everyone. If you're a good marks at school, you're good at studying.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no problem or no harm. There's no difference to maybe going to university and getting a degree. It could work well for you in getting a job in the long run. Having that degree to your name and having that knowledge. Although I do think the self-study route it is very useful, as it also can give you time and an idea to sort of pick your channel. There's so many different options within the whole subject of digital marketing, and I mean, maybe you just interested in Instagram, just interested in Facebook. Maybe you want to produce content, you don't want to run an account. Maybe you want to run an account, but you don't want to, go out and take pictures and take videos and do this or that.
Yeah.
So it's that self.
For some people, there's that creative aspect that you really want to dive into, or maybe they're just more better at like the admin part of it.
Exactly, the scheduling, the post scheduling, the research aspect of the social media. So I think it's different for everyone. It's if you're not really 100% certain, I think doing a course is really valuable, as you can pick and choose. There's no harm, no foul. It's not like you're committed to a degree.
Yeah, that's very true.
Then it's all goes up in flames because now you want to switch.
And you feel like you learned enough like through that course, gives you a good background here.
Absolutely. And going in the digital marketing industry, you're ever learning. You never know everything. So, I mean, no matter what you do or how you get your knowledge or your qualification, when you work, you'll find out all sorts of new things that you've never even thought about. So
that's interesting, man. I'm at that stage of my degree at the moment. I'm studying IT.
Yeah.
And I also feel like the degree's been an awesome, background. But I think once you start working, like you say, I think next year is when I'm really going to start putting things into practice. We'll see how that goes, man.
That's it. Yeah. It's just everything. It's never the same.
Yeah.
In you do IT and you're coding and then digital marketing.
Yeah.
There's never two things that are alike.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's different. So.
Yeah, because there's innovations happening all the time, like we just mentioned, bro.
Like you said, ChatGPT. So.
Interesting, bro. We'll see. Yeah, AI is a big thing at the moment. I don't even know where the possibilities of where it's gonna go, but hopefully not Terminator style.
that's what I'm saying. They're capable of a bit too much already.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, so you said initially you started off doing like some Instagram and that kind of stuff, like more the social media side. And you said now you're going to like Word. Like I remember last time I spoke to you, man. You're talking about like developing stuff on WordPress and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what would you say are some cool skills that you picked up over the last couple of years that you didn't have initially?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say web design or web development as a whole. So that's a skill I didn't have. I was super fortunate, as I mentioned, to be in a position and have some really great people at the company who could help teach me and guide me and build me up to where I am now. So yeah, man, it's a really, really cool and valuable skill to have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as soon as you get into it, and maybe like speaking from my own sort of experience, you go onto a website then one day and you're like, wow, and you see like all sorts of improvements that can be made that before you have that knowledge, you have no idea. But then you end up going onto people's websites and you're like, wow, like I could do a better job than this, or this needs fixing, that needs fixing, and
changes the way you think about it. Yeah.
It's completely different, and I'm not gonna like say that it's a super difficult skill to have, because once you get into it and once you get learning, everything becomes a lot simpler.
Very true.
Everything goes like that once you learn it, but there's so many different plugins and builders, and you've got Wix, you've got Squarespace, you've got WordPress, there's like multiple different ones, and it just depends on what you're looking for in your website and your skill base. So
lovely, man.
Yeah.
What's have you had like a favorite project that you worked on? Maybe like a specific company that you had to do something for? Like a specific project, like maybe building a website that you really enjoyed. What's like your favorite one that you've come across so far?
Oh, that is a tough one.
Interesting, yeah.
So I have a list. I'm just going through the list mentally. I have like a little portfolio list that I've made.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So I'm trying to think.
And I can tell you like really enjoy it, man, which is exactly what I wanted to get you on.
Oh, for sure. No, I really do. It's like there's nothing better than a website or a landing page or something that's visually pleasing and really easy for a user, and it just like comes together for the finished product. Like you start with a blank canvas, and you come out with this finished product, and you go through it, you're scrolling, you're clicking through pages, and you're like, okay, like I built this. So
it must be satisfying to see like from your clients, when you've built something for them like that, or maybe even an Instagram page, something as simple as that. When they see that kind of thing, I'm sure you like personalize it to their needs and all these kind of things. You'll probably see their reactions like all the time. Must be quite satisfying to see that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I mean, the day that you send a client a link to a site and they come back to you and say it's perfect without any changes, it's one of the best feelings, because you can get clients that you send things through and it's back and forth for multiple little changes, which isn't always an issue. It's never an issue. You just gotta roll with the punches. But when you send that off and they come back and they say it's perfect, it's best feeling. You know that you've nailed it. So
yeah, and I can imagine it's super satisfying, bro. I was unfortunately not joined by my co-host Daniel today. He's all the way there in Namibia, but he's here in spirit, bro. And he actually sent through a couple of questions for yourself as well, bro.
Perfect.
First one being, what he asked is, what are some ways to position yourself, like to be noticed in the industry of digital marketing? Because despite the fact that it is like a new industry, I have seen a lot of people that are trying to do it. A lot of people doing it through the method of freelance. So like, what would you say from your experience, like a way to stand out from everyone else?
For sure. I mean, I haven't done the freelance route, and it's a tough route.
Yeah.
It really is. Especially starting out your whole journey as a freelancer. It's getting clients and it's a tough task. But I have to say that it's just being different. Offering something that someone else can't offer. I mean, you hear it often, but specifically within this, maybe the type of content you're posting, the way you do things, just sort of something to stand out that and almost having evidence to back up your strategy. That's probably the biggest bit of advice I could have, because otherwise it's just generic. They could pick anyone out of a list of 20 people. If they're all doing the same thing and you're one person out of 20 that has something that stands out completely, that is completely different, they might end up going with you, because
it's good, man.
19 other people be employed by someone, and they will all have the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, I've noticed even in like this industry of YouTube and podcasting and this kind of stuff, you have to just try and make your own thing, something that's like you, and something that is unique and like different to what everyone else is offering.
Exactly.
Because I think a pitfall that a lot of people fall into is they might you might see someone else who's doing social media marketing and they're doing really well.
Yeah.
So you could try and like just copy their stuff, and then it might work for you, but I don't think it's like a good strategy long term, because you'll always just be like a second rate version of their already good product, or their already good service. Exactly. If you just copying from them, you're just always second best compared to them.
100% correct. 100%. You just gotta do you, and not follow the crowd. Sort of just take your route that you want to take, and
that's awesome.
It will work out. Just give it that perseverance.
That's awesome. Second question you had, man. Sort of on that thing with freelancing, going back to when you were doing that.
Yeah.
Like, how did you brand yourself at that time, in terms of as an independent digital marketer?
So I branded myself almost as like I give myself a little company name kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because at that time I thought that maybe I'd want to like build that up, and I didn't really think that I was going to have an opportunity to get a job. So I sort of branded myself as that company, and I had myself as listed as the skills that I had, and I could do this, because it's important for you to be a little bit of a jack of all trades in the digital marketing industry.
Sure.
There's absolutely no issue with being super, super good and mastering one single skill. But I mean, specifically in the freelancing world, if someone hires you, you want to be able to sort of have those multiple different skills.
Sure.
Offer them this.
You don't want them to ask you, "Can you do this?" and your answers.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, just say yes.
Mm.
Also, that's the biggest advice. If someone asks you, "Can you do something?" Say yes.
Sure.
Go onto Google, onto YouTube, and then you can figure it out after that. That's
cool.
Just how it's got to go, because you don't want to say no. And plus, if they come up with something that you didn't even think about, and they ask if you can do it, and you say yes, and then you go and learn another skill, and that's just a whole new skill that you never even considered, that you've now added to your little bag of skills, or bag or whatever.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's awesome. So the 3 years ago, almost, I think we graduated, man. This is going into our third year now.
Out of matric, yeah.
Crazy, man. So and there's, I don't know if you noticed, but for myself, like coming out of school, there's all this pressure that you need to go and start studying. People always like, oh, you must go and get a degree. So for yourself, obviously, you didn't really go down that route, man. So what was that like for you? Like, what are some challenges that you faced, in that route? Because I always think about it. Despite the fact that there was those pressures, I sometimes thought maybe I wasn't going to study and try and make it, just getting a job straight out of school, going straight into working.
Yeah.
But obviously I went the route of studying, so I'm interested to know, man. And I'm sure a lot of young people are in that phase. How was that for you? Just finding your own way, not having that routine that university or school gives you.
As you go through the same thing. It's like coming out of a trick. You're like, okay, big world now.
Yeah,
it's really daunting at first.
It is, bro.
And I'm completely transparent. I had terrible days in that gap year, because it's just you lose a little bit of the path. Kind of thing is you just all people are off to university, and you're sitting here. It's probably great.
Sometimes you might doubt yourself. Yeah.
That's it. It's great for about a month, because it's out of school, I'm on holiday kind of thing. And then it's gets to the reality, it's okay, well, I need to make money, I need to do this, I need to get a job, I need to do this. This is what my gap year is for. I wanted to make some money, I wanted to do all sorts of things, but it's it's really difficult, because you may try things or whatever, and things don't work out, and you just think that things just aren't going your way, and it's difficult. I really, really
sure.
super like sad days because I was just like flip. I was like, nothing's just gonna work out for me. I should have just gone to university, as like you said. Like you had thoughts of maybe the other way around. You should have been doing what I was doing, and I thought I should be doing what you're doing. So I suppose everyone always has those doubts. Like it's just how
grass is always greener. Yeah,
dude, absolutely. Like you go down your path and you're like, oh, maybe I wonder if I didn't take that one, that maybe it would be better. So, but I think that you just gotta persevere.
Yeah.
And you just gotta be determined, and you just gotta know, like, have faith that things will work out. Like something will come up.
Yeah, man. It takes time. That's also one thing I've noticed, bro. Like you have to build up a foundation. But first of all, well done, bro, for getting to the point that you are at now. Like a couple of dark days there, like you said, bro. But I think it's cool to see the progress that you've made. I think you're definitely like on a upward trajectory, bro, and it's inspiring for people to see, man. 100%. So yeah, man, that's very cool. And I saw recently you were doing like a triathlon, bro. How was that?
Yes, I did do that.
That must have been quite intense.
That was crazy.
What were the kilometers that you had to do and everything?
So that was a 750 meter swim, which I always say that to people, and they say, "Oh, it doesn't sound that bad," but I just don't have any response because in my head I'm like, okay, it's still challenging. 20k cycle and a 5k run. Yeah. So, doing all those things separately.
One after the other
is fine, but it's, as you say, one after another is a completely different story.
Awesome.
Probably one of the most rewarding things I've done for sure. Coming across that finish line, knowing that you just completed something that not many people really do.
Yeah.
Super cool feeling, and that's also awesome. Just a routine in it. As you say, we've had a conversation about training, going to gym and stuff. Yeah. Just that routine is super healthy, and it's just it really just one-upped my whole day, my whole week kind of thing. Just that routine of train before work, and then I'm sure you know what it's like. That boosted productivity. That straight after you
just feel good
after you work out, come home, take a shower, make a smoothie, make a coffee, and then you grind out some work. It's
good, bro. Yeah. That's awesome. One thing I've noticed, if I don't include stuff like that in my day, a little bit of training, productivity and that kind of stuff, you always just end up feeling worse about yourself.
100%.
But if you've had a good productive day where you've at least just put some work into your body, some work into your business or your studies, for example, you just can you can sleep easy at night because first of all, you're tired from training from the mental capacity. So it's so healthy. We also had a conversation about just balancing everything. I wanted to ask you about that, bro. You're obviously leading a busy life, bro. Training, working.
Yeah.
Obviously, you won't have time, stuff like relationships. Even just upholding friendships. Things with family. You still want to have some time for yourself, where you're just chilling by yourself. In that, it's a question I ask myself sometimes when I want to pose it to you, man. How do you balance all of those things, all of those things that demand time of you?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I like to sort of just take a week by week kind of thing, a little day by day, week by week. So you've got to look at your day, and you've also got to be realistic, because as you said, there's the amount of things you just listed: family, friends, relationship, work, training, balance, all sorts of things.
Crazy, man.
It's a lot of things to fit in, and you can't fit it in every day, or you can't always fit it in every week, let's say. So you just gotta be realistic with your time, and if someone starts work at 8 or 9 or whatever, if you switch up your lifestyle and you train in the morning, or say for example, maybe you're used to training after work or training in the evening or something, that was me, and I switched to the morning just because the afternoons was always so full. Maybe you want to wind down after work, you want to relax, you want to
100%.
Spend time with your girlfriend or whatever, something like that, or see your mates. So it's just those little changes, those little alternatives that can maybe open up a little bit of time, open up a little bit of space, that I found was really key to finding the balance, as well as weekend is weekend. Just enjoy it, switch off, enjoy it, and you just use your weekend how you want it, you know.
That's awesome, man.
So
Yeah, I've noticed if you don't, like you say, if you don't have that kind of thing, you just end up burning out. Yeah.
big time.
You can cut out the me time and like the time to just chill, where you're like maybe watching a series or something. But that's when you're ready to start to burn out. That's something that we talked about on this channel, me and Daniel, bro. But yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna be putting all these things into practice, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, been an awesome conversation, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. Hope you guys have enjoyed listening to us talk about this industry of digital marketing. And if you have any questions, like hit us up in the comments. I'm sure Ollie will be down in there.
Absolutely.
We'll put all your socials in there.
We'll keep in touch, man. So I'll see you around somewhere. We can maybe answer some comments.
Definitely,
or answer some questions that anyone might have asked.
Exactly, bro. Super keen.
For sure.
But yeah, that's it from us. Yeah, better than yesterday. And we'll see you soon.
Perfect.
Much love.